Hi everyone. In this video I want to explain how I try to fix the communication board on this particular SolarEdge inverter. So basically this inverter is a 6000 watt or SE6000H SolarEdge inverter, and I had this in operation for about a year and a half, and it's been doing perfectly fine. And all of a sudden one night there is a big thunderstorm, and I think it may have short circuit or something, but I mean it shouldn't. I mean, the fact that this is a power equipment, I figured that they had enough protection for some kind of electrical issues like lightning, for example, but I don't know. I mean, I don't have any surge protection. Maybe I need to look into that. But anyways, so let me show you what's wrong with this particular unit right now. When I noticed there's something wrong, I particularly did or tried to get into the menu, and I noticed that this button is no longer working. This is the back button. So this button is still working. So the up and down button is still working. The OK button is still working, but I cannot press the back button. I also noticed that the network, I have a network cable, Ethernet basically, that goes into here, that is plugged in, and it goes to my switch, network switch, and I know that the cable is fine. I tested it with a different network equipment or a different inverter that I have here, but for some reason with this inverter it doesn't work. So all of this is basically connected to one component, which is the communication board. And this is what this video is about, is we are going to try to replace the communication board. I have another inverter that I actually took the communication board from and replaced it here last week, and it works. But I actually want to use that inverter, so I don't want to take something from a working inverter and put it here, and then that inverter now is missing a communication board. So what I'm gonna do, well, what I've done is I went to eBay and actually found somebody selling the communication board for about $55 plus shipping. So I got it shipped, and I'm going to replace it and see if it works. So first, before we start replacing it, I'm going to open this and show you what does the inside look like and what exactly I'm going to replace. Okay, so I got the cover open, and this is the communication board. So this board is actually fully operational, meaning the inverter actually is operational. It can generate power, but the only thing that is wrong is that I can't press the back button, and the Ethernet here doesn't work. So this and this doesn't work. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe there's a surge that went through the Ethernet, because that's around the same area here that's broken, or I don't know what's happening. But basically this whole entire board here needs to be replaced. All right, so I'm going to shut it down and remove this and let you see how this work according to what I can tell. And this is actually very easy to remove. Let me describe the how to remove it first. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's 4 screws there that you need to remove, and the connectors is this connector right here, this connector here, and then there's a power connector here, which is probably like a 12 volt. It's a very small cable. It's just probably a power just to power the communication board. This is an RS485 bus cable that communicates to my meter to measure the energy, and also to communicate between different inverters. But I don't use it to communicate to different inverters. I just use it to communicate with the meter. And so I'm going to remove this and show you what it looks like at the back, and how it communicates with the inverter, which is actually pretty cool to see. Sorry, I forgot to mention this light here. This switch. This is a light sensing switch that SolarEdge used, which is pretty cool. The one that doesn't work, I noticed there's like a red light that is coming out. I don't know if you can pick it up from the camera. This one right here has a red light that is coming out of it. The rest of them don't. The one that works do not, but this one constantly just shows red. Maybe that's the reason why it's not working. Okay, I have the screws removed, and make sure before you do this, I forgot to mention, please make sure you disconnect the power. I'm talking about the 240 volt that goes into the inverter, which is basically connected to your circuit breaker. Make sure that you shut that off by turning off the circuit breaker. All right, so once you have that, then you can unscrew it just like I did. And this particular power cable, this is very easy to remove. There's a latch, or what do you call it, like a plastic piece here that at the back of this that you just press in against itself, and then you can just pull it out. I'm trying to do this with one hand. There you go. And then the bottom part right here, obviously this is I already removed the RS485, and then the Ethernet. Obviously there's a tab, and you just remove that. Okay, so I got this removed, and this is the back of it. That's the front, this is the back. And what I'm trying to point out to you is that let me see if I can do this with one hand. Probably not. Hang on. Alright, so I got this removed, and I want to show you how cool this thing is, the way that it communicates with the inverter. You see this plastic part right here? This is kind of like a tunnel. It protects the light from going in, and inside there's a little sensor that looks like one of those light sensors that SolarEdge always use. And this is the same sensor that they use here in the front too, when you put your hand over those switches to press OK up and down or back. They have the same sensor there at the back, and I look around this entire board. There is nothing communicating between this board and the main logic board there. The only thing that is communicating is basically that light. So this thing here is basically communicating with that thing there through this tunnel, and that's how this board communicates with that board. That's it. So when they call this the communication board, it literally means that this is just to communicate from the user to the inverter. The inverter is probably self-sufficient, I would imagine. I never try it without this board attached, whether it works, but they completely separated the communication from the main component. So everything here is truly communication. Just like go through all this. This is the Zigbee, this is the cellular, this is all the user interface, the menu, the display, the Ethernet, the RS485. All of this is communication. So anyway, this is the part that I'm replacing. This is the bad one. This is the bad board. This is part number D1180B as in boy. And I'm going to pause the video and get the one that I'm going to install in here. Okay, so this is the new replacement board that I got from eBay. The part number, surprisingly, is kind of different. Well, nobody uses the part number that I refer to at the back, the D1180B, but on eBay everybody is using this part number here, FLDHDPRT-01. Let me get the previous board that is broken. Yeah, so my broken board doesn't have any sticker here, so it doesn't have that part number. Yeah, so I have no idea if it's going to work, but it looks exactly identical. So this is the broken one on the left, and this is the new one on the right. I mean, not exactly identical. There are some differences here and there for some parts that I don't actually use, but for the most part, it looks pretty much identical. The part number at the back are both the same on that D1180B. Okay, so I'm going to take the risk of putting this on, and hopefully it doesn't damage anything, and then see how it works. I know we have to activate it by putting in the SD card that came with this. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to video the whole entire process. I have to screw in these cheap nylon riser legs, whatever you want to call it. They're all made of nylons. There's only one leg that is made of steel, and that's about it. Everything else is made of nylon. And for some reason, after removing it and reinstalling it several times, it seems like every time I unscrew it, I also remove the nylon from the main logic board. All right, so we're just going to attach the power first. It only goes in one way, so you can't make a mistake and flip them around. And then we just position this and start screwing the screws. Okay, like I said earlier, oops, hang on. All right, like I said earlier, once I turn this on, it's going to detect that this is a new communication board, and it should ask me whether I would like to activate it. Like, yeah, I think it says activated, which means that I have to insert the something. I just over tightened something. Oh my god. Yeah, so it just went loose. I'll deal with that later. So let's just go ahead and put in everything first. Okay, so I forgot those things are made of nylon, and then you don't want to tighten it too much, and there's really no pressure on this communication board, meaning it doesn't need to be very tight. There's nothing, it's not holding anything by itself, and it weighs probably like 1/4 of a pound, so almost nothing. Okay, I hate these nylons connectors. I mean, standoff, whatever. All right, so I'll deal with this one later. This one seems like maybe I broke. Yeah, I think I broke the actual connector inside. Okay, so I'm not going to connect this right now. Well, actually I can. It doesn't hurt. So let me just connect the RS485 and then connect the Ethernet. All right, I think everything is ready. The power is in. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave this switch to off first, and I'm going to power it on right now. Okay, let's remove this so that we can see better. All right, nothing's happening. Oh, it's turning on. All right, so I see the Ethernet is blinking, and it says SW error. Okay, I did not see that before when I put on the other board from the 3800 inverter, but it's definitely not working right now. Well, it's somewhat working. I don't know what it's doing. So let me turn this on, see if it actually works. See, this red light is solid red. It doesn't look like it likes this board. All right, I think we failed. I'm not sure because it just purely don't work. Error 45, whatever that means, and it clearly doesn't work. I'm going to power it off and remove these connectors and see if it makes a difference. So removing this, and let me go back there and pinch this to remove Ethernet. There you go. Okay, they're both removed, and let me power it back on. Come on. Not really doing anything, but there's no error light. Oh, there's an error light now. Error code 45 3 times 2 SW error. I don't know what that means. Yeah, this button is working, but I can't get to the menu. Let me see if I turn off the switch, because sometimes you need to turn off the switch in order for you to get to the menu. I'm sorry, pressing the wrong button. This one gets you to menu. Okay, actually it's going to pairing and everything, so I'm not sure actually if this is actually not working or not. Okay, let's see if we can get to the menu. Oops. Okay, I think that's the wrong button. One. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is clearly, there's something wrong. I can't enter the password. 2323, but I can't press 1. There's nothing going on here. This switch works. This switch doesn't seem to work. I don't know what's going on with that switch. This switch works. This switch doesn't work. Maybe that's what error 45 means. I don't know. Yep. Oh, okay, that's a waste of time. I just turn on the inverter and it still doesn't do anything. It doesn't say on. Alright, so I guess that was a complete failure. Yeah. Alright, well, I'm gonna swap it back to the previous board that I used and see if that works. Hopefully I didn't damage anything permanent, but this definitely do not work. This is a replacement board. Okay, so I got the original board before I made the video, that I said that I got this board from another inverter that I'm not using. It's a brand new one, and it seems to work as a replacement for the bad one. But I was hoping that I can return this communication board to that particular inverter, because I'm going to probably use that in the future. But I guess it doesn't work. I mean, the replacement board that I got here from eBay, this thing right here, it doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So I guess I'll probably return this. Error code 45. I don't know what that means. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, well, this seems to be working just fine. Let me flip it on. Hopefully it will still generate power. Yep, voltage DC is moving up. Looks like this is still working. The power light is blinking, which means that it's waking up. Okay, we're gonna wait until the relay start clicking to turn this on. This is normal. It goes up to about 300 and then goes down, and then now start waking up. I'm gonna pause it so that you don't have to wait 3 minutes. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel to see more do-it-yourself